Oh, it's locked. I gotta rotate it back. Hold on. I guess I gotta rotate it back, I guess. Hang on there, everybody. Been going for 45 seconds. Hang in there, everybody. Get the tripod on here. There we go. I have to go that way with it. I have this pocket tripod. It folds up to the size of like a credit card and fits in my wallet. And it's a tripod for your smartphones. I'm using the iPhone Pro Max, the iPhone, the 15s are out now. This is the iPhone 14. I bought this one and the 15s come out like a day later. Doesn't that always happen? I'm hoping you guys can hear me. I have a little lapel shotgun mic thing going on here. So this is a pocket tripod. I'm going to be talking about black bear here in a minute. Should be all set. So now, for those of you who are watching this live stream right now, I don't know if you've ever hunted black bear or if you've ever had a desire or an interest in pursuing black bear. Maybe you're a real experienced black bear hunter and have harvested many black bear with rifle, bow, spot and stalk, hunting over bait, hunting with hounds, however you choose fit to pursue the black bear when out hunting. I've personally have harvested, oh gosh, close to a dozen black bear. I mean, maybe 8, 9, somewhere between 8 and 10 black bear. They've all been shot with my bow and arrow, minus the one I harvested last year, first one ever with a firearm, with my 270 rifle. And that marked the first black bear I've ever shot with a high-powered rifle. They've all been in years prior shot with my bow. So I've got quite a few black bear under my belt, even a Canadian. Let's not say it that way. I even have a New Brunswick black bear under my belt that I harvested with my bow on that particular hunt. But today, I don't want to talk about how many I've shot, how many you've shot. I mean, that doesn't matter. It doesn't. However many deer, bear, moose, elk, pronghorn antelope, mule deer, however many rabbit, birds that you shoot, doesn't tell anyone, doesn't tell the world how good of a hunter you are. Anyone can have just shit luck and go out there, walk through the woods. I've seen this multiple times through all the years that I've been hunting. Men just barreling out of the truck, grabbing their rifle, storming through the woods, and then like moments later they're dragging out a 10-point buck over 200 pounds. I've seen that time and time again. That's just shit luck. That doesn't mean that they're a good hunter, a bad hunter. We can't put that label on any hunter out there. That's just, it only takes one rotten egg in the basket, right? As they say, or one rotten potato or tomato to spoil the rest. And we don't want to label hunters or anything like that. So don't feel bad that you've been maybe pursuing black bear for years. And I've heard of in the podcasts I listen to, articles I read, stuff like that, that there are many hunters out there that have been pursuing the black bear for multiple years, 2, 3, 4, and even more years, and have yet to shoot one. That doesn't mean they're a horrible hunter or a bad hunter. So please do all the rest of us in the world a favor. Don't put a label on hunters and call them bad hunter, good hunter. That doesn't matter. So thing is, with black bear hunting, a lot of people, or should I say a lot of hunters, they don't want to shoot black bear every year. Like, unlike someone like me, I love to harvest a bear yearly because me and my son love eating black bear meat. Black bear meat is one of the most healthiest, leanest meats out there that a human can consume if prepared properly, if properly cared for in the field when shot, and immediately taken care of, and immediately cooled, and immediately brought to a processing place and cut up, packaged, and then also prepared well on the stove, oven, however, or in the crock pot and on the table. So when all that goes into play into making good table fare with black bear meat. Black bear meat is one of the best meats out there that you'll ever have if properly cared for and properly cooked. So obviously I just got sidetracked. Yeah. Anyways, so let's get back on track. I'm here in black bear country. So behind me here, hopefully you can hear me all right, because this is the Magic Pop mic that I just recently purchased, and it's supposed to work up to hundreds of yards away. I think I got some flies interfering with the camera there. But over here, yeah, I've got some blueberries here. So I'm in black bear country. First off, I want to apologize for getting sidetracked there. I lost my train of thought talking about how wonderful black bear meat is. Oh, guess what? This may be funny, may not. Might make me sound like a fool and look like a fool, but I just remembered where I was going with that earlier. What I was talking about many hunters, they don't want to. That's right. This is exactly what I was talking about. Many hunters don't want to shoot bear every year because they don't have an interest in that, or they don't. And some hunters too actually really don't like the taste of black bear meat. They don't, but they'd love to have that really big, beautiful 300+ pound trophy black bear mount in their man cave or on their wall at home. So a lot of hunters will like hire a guide, an outfitter, pay thousands of dollars to go on a black bear hunt to harvest a big trophy black bear, and they'll call it quits after that and not pursue black bear ever again. There's many hunters that do that, but I happen to live in black bear country, live and hunt in black bear country where there's a lot of black bear, and I've been fortunate enough to shoot a black bear on average every other year. I don't shoot one every year. There's back-to-back years I've shot black bear, like 2 years in a row, and then I've gone the following year without one, and then I'd shoot one year after that. So I've kind of, in my black bear hunting career, have averaged one bear every other year since I've started black bear hunting like 12 years ago or so. Like I said, I've shot in 8 to 10 black. So if it's, yeah, I suck at math, by the way. You guys could do the math for me, maybe drop it in the comments below about how many years I've been hunting black bear. If I'm averaging one every other year, maybe like 14 years or so I've been at it. But anyways, let's get back on track. So those are blueberries I had in my hand, and we have here. I hope you can hear me. That's still on. So we have the red oak tree here. Some blueberries. I have some items here black bear like to eat. Got some blueberries. And there's a lot of blackberries and raspberries in this area. There's a lot of oak, and there's a lot of beech trees too. So hard mast, black bear like to eat in the fall months. I mean, we're in July now. August next month is actually pre-baiting season for Maine, the upcoming black bear hunt. So I can't wait. I'm super stoked about that. I can't wait to start running my bait sites, getting them set up, start seeing what black bear I have coming in, visit my bait sites. So I pick and choose the shooter. I can choose what black bear I'd like to harvest. that's the luxury of being able to bait black bear, everybody, is you get to be selective. When in spotting and stalking or hunting over just food sources and trying to spot and stalk a black bear, a lot of times it's hard to field judge that bear to tell if it's a big, mature black bear. But when baiting black bear, you can judge their size at that bait barrel or bait bucket. Like when a black bear stands, when its back is almost the top of a 55-gallon drum, you've got yourself a shooter bear. That's an adult black bear all day long. Or even when the barrels are laid over on their side, if it looks like the black bear will consume that whole barrel and then some, like stand taller than that barrel laying down and they're longer than that barrel, you most likely have a good sized boar on your hand. That's a shooter bear all day long in anyone's book. And male black bear, typically they're more broad in the shoulders. Male black bear boars are going to have longer legs. You're going to have narrower rear ends, be sleeker, longer, taller. They're going to be real. They're going to have big blocky heads. A big mature trophy boar, it'll appear like they have tiny little mouse ears. Their heads are going to be wide because they're big and mature. Their head's going to be blockier, wider. They may or may not have that crease in the center of their head. They don't always have that. That's not always indicative of a mature trophy 300, 400-pound black bear. They don't always have that. But you got to look for a bear with ears that aren't almost touching, ears that are more spread out to the sides, and the smaller looking like little mouse ears on the top of the head, and a big blocky long head and big broad wide shoulders. That's going to be a boar. And also when looking at their noses, their snouts, male boar, black bear, their noses look more sleek, more aerodynamic, and with their forehead, it looks like their noses mesh and flush up to the top of their forehead. On female black bear, it looks like someone took a dog muzzle and just stuck it to the front of their nose. The forehead drops down and then the nose goes out. That's typical on a female. And female have big. this is also indicative of like humans too. This is always a typical female trait. Females always have the wider hips, usually bigger rear ends. That's the case with black bear. Your female, your girly, your sow black bear, are going to have that rump, that nice big blocky rump. They're going to be big hipped and be more narrower in the shoulders, and their rear ends are going to be taller, look higher and taller than their front shoulders. And they're going to be more stout, they're going to be shorter legged, not so long. So you got to look for that when trying to pick out, choose your boar, your mature big boar, your male black bear at your bait. You got to look for those traits and features to know that you've got a boar on your hands there or a sow. And so that's the nice thing about baiting black bear. You can figure all that out, and you can pick and choose the bigger, mature, older bear, and let the younger, your cubs and your sows, go on to the breed, mate, produce more bear in the future for more future harvest down the road. And that's just all part of wildlife conservation, part of hunters being conservationists and using these hunting tactics methods so that they can be selective and choosy. And so baiting really is a necessity when it comes to hunting bear. It's a great way, tactic to be selective like that. And also, I mean, what better hunt is there than sitting over bait in September when the weather's warmer, when you're not shivering, freezing? You can hunt in a t-shirt. You can hunt the way I'm dressed now and just minimal clothing. It can be nice and warm in the 70s, sometimes 80, 70s, 60s when going into the stand at your bait site. And the temperature could drop 10 to 15 degrees and be nice and cool in the high 40s, 50s before the bear comes sauntering on into your bait. So it's a very comfortable, relaxing hunt, and there's nothing like it in the world, sitting in a stand in the forest in bear country. You don't hear anything around you other than birds and squirrels and mice scampering about, hearing deer and watching deer and coyote and fox or whatever moving around. You get to observe your surroundings and observe wildlife out in their natural element, and there's nothing like it in the world. And then when a bear shows up to the bait, it's like game on, and then that's just the icing on the cake. It's so thrilling and exciting to just watch and observe black bear doing the thing. Or thing, it's fun to film them and take pictures of them with the phone, and waiting on that big one to come in the last half hour, 20 minutes of legal shooting. Like, I love it when sows and cubs come in and they're around my bait and putting on a show. Like, I just love to just watch them for hours, filming them, taking pictures of them. And so baiting can be a real thrill and exciting. So when now we want to get on track here about what this live stream is all about, and that's how to find black bear country, how to go about finding where you should pursue black bear, or finding a good place to start. You got to find that starting point. And the number one thing is food. I mean, black bear, they consume over 5,000, 8,000 calories a day in the summer months, or late spring, summer. Black bear they need somewhere between that 5,000, 8,000 calories a day in that hot days. And also when consuming that much food, when eating that much food with lots of sugars and salts, a lot of sodium and carbohydrates and all that, it makes you extremely thirsty. So yeah, you got it right. Black bear need to be near water. They always live and feed near water sources, good fresh water that obviously they like to drink, safe for them to consume. So they're going to pack on the calories. They need the thirst. They got to drink a lot. Now, once summer leaves us, we're moving into the fall months. The amount of calories that the black bear actually need to consume actually goes up, believe it or not. What once was 5,000, about 8,000 calories a day for a black bear, all of a sudden becomes 10 or more, 10 to 12,000 plus calories. They really need to pack on the carbohydrates, the fat, stuff like that. They seek out really sugary, sweet foods that have a lot of them carbohydrates and a lot of fatty acids that pack on that food. They obviously need to store a lot of energy in the form of food to survive the rigorous winter months in the areas where they live. Black bear, they shut down in the winter and don't need to consume as much food. They're getting closer to the snow flying, closer to those colder, freezing months. The black bear will go to woody browse. They pack on lots of woody, fibrous kind of browse to kind of, if you will, form like an internal plug. It kind of bungs them up a little bit. It makes them feel full. They've already, for the months prior, the months button up to the winter months, they've been packing on them the fat and calories and all the carbohydrates and stuff, all that energy from food, and they kind of plug themselves up, and they don't need to eat so much or any at all. And now black bear, they're not true hibernators. In the wintertime, a lot of time on unseasonably warm days, warm up, they can periodically wake up from their winter slumber and mill around, get up, stretch their legs, and walk around their denning areas in the wintertime. They don't truly hibernate right through for 4 months like your chipmunks and bats, maybe raccoon, skunks. There's all them other critters and animals out there that are true hibernators. Black bear don't do that. They can actually wake up off and on in the wintertime. But they don't eat or drink. They don't need to. Their heart rate slows down from on nearly 100 beats a minute to a day, all through the spring, summer, early fall, down to very, very few beats. The heart rate slows right down. Their body goes into a torpor state, and sort of just a slumber. They're pretty much kind of just a sleepy animal all through the winter. They just sleep a lot, and they can sleep for days on end. Again, they're not hibernating per se. They're just kind of in a stuporish, torpor kind of state, kind of a not diapause. That's insects. Insects go into diapause. But so black bear, this time of year, coming up on August, as they get into September, so when September comes, they need that 10, 12,000 calories a day. So food is number one. And when looking for black bear sign and our favorable area to hunt black bear, you want to find them berries, the hard mash, the beech nuts, acorns, blueberries, raspberries, blackberries, hobblebush berries, partridge berries, any of them, any berries that they can safely consume. You want to look for all that. And black bear too, also, they don't just eat berries and nuts, but they also eat different grasses and other herbaceous vegetation. Like they'll eat clovers and dandelion greens and all the different grasses, and like also like plantain, and also see what else we have around here. Pretty much everything that almost everything you see in the background and foreground here is potential food for black bear. I mean, black bear eat the same things that porcupine eat. I've always called porcupines. I've been doing these that's kind of annoying probably. Gotta put those down. That looks corny. I've been doing these quotations with my fingers. Sorry about that. But I've always called porcupines miniature black bears. Now, black bears, porcupine, they live in the same habitat. I don't know if you knew that, but yeah, this is a really cool fact of nature, is where you find ample porcupine, you're most likely also going to find black bear scat tracks. You're going to find habitat that black bear kind of favor and live in. Porcupine they're in the coniferous forests, mossy covered forests near streams, ponds, lake. Porcupine will be found close by fields. Like porcupine are gonna go and graze and browse in grassy areas and eat all your herbaceous vegetation the same that bear eat. Porcupine will consume nuts and berries, and also another fact about porcupine and black bear, and why I kind of like to call porcupine miniature black bear, and why I liken the two, even though porcupine are way smaller. They're kind of like, they're a rodent. So they're in the rodentia family. They have them rodent teeth. They're related to rodents. But I like to describe the two. And so see, porcupine, they're known to make them widowmakers, kill trees. Porcupine will strip the outer bark on trees to get to that sugary, sweet, carbohydrate, that fatty layer behind the bark of trees. The cambium layer. Put those down, Justin. Sorry about that. Those stupid quotes. So trees, they have the living layer known as the cambium layer. In the springs, and this is the porcupine and black bear. They do this. Where I'm going with this is black bear and porcupine both know to eat. Jeez, put them down. Black bear and porcupine both like to eat that cambium layer. They both know that behind the outer bark of trees, they can get a sweet treat. That sugary, sweet treat behind that bark of the trees. And so they see that in the wintertime, trees, they kind of go dormant. The leaves fall off and they form what buds are. In a sense, they're a protective coating, protective layer for the next year's leaf bud. They go into this dormancy stage. In the water, all the nutrients for that tree is stored underground in those tap roots and those branching roots and the hair roots and stuff underground, and all that sugary, sappy like water stored there. That once the days lengthen and the spring comes on, the days warm, the trees will start to awaken from their dormancy state, and they'll start drawing up, pulling up, sucking up, if you will, that water, the sugary water from the roots underground up through that cambium layer in the tree up to the tree tops to start feeding those future leaves. And then obviously photosynthesis comes into play with all that for trees. But that sugary, sappy-like layer known as the cambium layer behind that outer bark is a wonderful treat for porcupine and black bear. Black bear will claw, bite, and gnaw, and claw at the outer bark to strip the outer bark to get to that sugary, sweet treat in that tree. And the porcupine use their incisors, them rodent, or that's why they're known as they're related to rodents because of their teeth. Porcupine use their teeth to strip that bark to get into that sugary layer, the cambium layer behind the bark. So the trees that black bear seek out for this are like no bigger than that. Take your two hands and make C's, cup your hands like this, bring them together. That's about the size of the trees you want to look for. When out scouting for black bear sign to find out if you're in black bear country or not, and you're looking for those stripped trees, and you're also deciphering whether or not it was a porcupine that stripped that tree or a black bear, you'll be able to tell the difference. So you want to look for trees about that size. Go into an area that's like a lot of coniferous, that's real dark, deep forest with that's mossy cover. That's nearby water, a lot of trickling streams and feeder streams going into big rivers and ponds and lakes nearby. Ample water and all ample food sources of all kinds and types. Go there. It's a good starting point to go look for black bear, and you may or may not stumble upon clumps of trees that have been just stripped of their bark and the cambium layers missing, and they're starting to die. I mean, this does kill the trees. That's why I call porcupine widowmaker. Porcupine and black bear, they'll make widowmakers, which are trees that are dying or already dead that can topple over, fall over in high winds, and heaven forbid someone be under that tree when it falls over. You know, known as widowmakers. So the trees will die. A black bear are kind of like docile, slow, kind of moving, the dope kind of creatures. They're not going to go far. They're not going to travel far in a very quick time. Now, male black bear have a way larger home range, if you will. Male black bear travel the most than females. Your sows have smaller home ranges that they kind of stay. They might be only a couple mile, 2-4 mile square radius area for a female. I mean, your boars could travel very far, miles upon miles in a square radius. And obviously, in the spring, late April, May, and June, and even right now, I think still black bear mating season too. It's like a 3-month-long mating season for black bear. May, June, July. It's pretty much almost over come August, the mating season for bear. But this time of year, black bear are traveling in search of estrus, sows that are in heat, coming in heat, and so they have that extends their range a bit. The mating season, it'll shorten up, get smaller after the mating season's gone. The black bear, the boars will seek out favorable feeding grounds where they traditionally every year they find ample food and water and cover. And your black bear, what's neat is see, they live in an area where they're almost like silent. You can't hear them walking. So if you're sitting at your bait site, and all of a sudden you went from looking to your right and you turn towards your bait barrel, and man, he's right there. All of a sudden the bear is right there. You don't even know how they appeared there. You don't know where they come from because you never heard them or saw them paused on me because of that stupid call. I think it's still going. Hello? Oh yeah, we're still going, but that call that came through on my iPhone paused and glitched the live stream a little bit. So black bear's habitat, because they seek out that deep, dark forest, cool forest, and the reason for this, why black bear like to travel through and live in the deeper, darker forest, mossy covered forests, because they're naturally a hot animal. You got to imagine that thick, black, hairy coat on them, and that blubber, that fat. They're known as a very fatty animal. They have a lot of big, thick layer of fat on them. But they need all that to survive the brutal winters in the areas that they live. And so if you imagine yourself putting on a big, thick sweater and going out and mowing your lawn in the summertime, and imagine and think about how you'd feel, how hot you'd be, and then but keep that sweater on and go into the forest, into a shaded, deep, dark forest and lowland near a stream where there's like a microclimate going on. It's always cooler near water and low lying areas and ravines near water. It's always cooler. It's like it forms its own little microclimate. It could be 85 degrees and humid out in the wide open in the fields and that grass in those yards that you've been mowing in that sweater, thick sweater, but then you go into that part of the forest and you'll automatically feel cooler. It'll feel better. So you got to imagine black bear having that sweater, that big thick sweater on. They're not going to want to be out feeding and grazing, browsing in the wide open area in the heat of the day and being hot and overheating themselves, getting hyperthermia. Not hypothermia is when you're too cold. Hyperthermia kills a lot of people. That's where the people get heat stroke. They overheat and kind of can get heat stroke, and they can get hyperthermia. So the black bear can be susceptible to that too if they put themselves at risk out in the heat in the sun. So they stay back in the dark, deep forests near water. It's cooler, but also where they're traveling in that part of the forest, they're in a sense they're invisible. It's dark. They're black, so they blend right in. They almost can't be seen in those dark, deep forests. And they're walking on flattened needles that have fallen from coniferous trees, and it's all mossy covered forest. So it's super quiet substrate. As they're walking, they're virtually quiet. And also, black bear put one paw in the other. When they're walking, the front paw will go here, and as they're going forward, the other paw will go where that one was, and likewise their back paw, where that one stepped, the other paw will go overlay over top that other paw. They go paw and paw as they're walking, but also they're walking in a mossy kind of area. They're not walking in a dry, crisp, dry ridge with all the leaves, where it's crunchy leaves and where it's hot. So they're very quiet when approaching bait sites and when milling around the woods where they live. But obviously they need to feed. They need to eat. They'll gravitate towards food come late evening in the dark through the night when it's cool, when that temperature drops, cooler for them, less humid. Black bear will seek out those fields, areas where they can go get that herbaceous vegetation, or they'll seek out those berry patches and other areas where there's ample food that they need, that they love. But they'll do that in the cover of darkness where it's cooler for them, so that it's not stressful for them. Black bear, I don't know if you knew this or know this at all. Black bear, very prone to anxiety. They can get stressed very easily when near human habitat. When black bear are being disturbed by human pressure, there's a lot of human pressure nearby. Black bear, obviously food drives them. Food's going to bring them out of hiding. That's what bait sites do for hunters. Their stomach just puts them in danger pretty much. Because the black bear, they can't resist. They like I said, they need that 10, 12 or more, 15,000 calories a day in the fall leading up to the winter. They really need to pack on that fat and all them calories. So the food can put them in a predicament. But when doing so, when the bear come into bait sites, they're coming into the backyards of people's homes and getting into their dumpsters or trash cans. And believe it or not, the bear are actually highly stressed at that point because they don't like that human presence, that being near human. They'll have anxiety. They'll be panting a lot. They a lot of times they'll sit and yawn. They'll be yawning a lot. You'll get to see if you're watching a bear do this in your backyard, you'll see their big long tongues. They have extra long tongues, which is funny. At least that one bear me and my wife had in our yard for 2 years in a row had an extra long tongue. My wife loved that. But anyways, bad off-color joke. But black bear, they're highly stressed and they're going through anxiety when near human presence, human pressure, and so it's not good for them. But they want that food. They'll get that food, they'll eat, and they'll vacate. They'll skedaddle back to where they come from, to the deep dark forest where they feel safer, and then their anxiety might go away and they'll feel calm down. But when they have to approach an area that makes them feel uneasy, unsafe, and all that, the anxiety goes through the roof. And so I didn't know if you knew that. But a lot of people just assume black bear are like top of the predator list. They're high. I mean, they are in essence, but black bear are really afraid of you. They shy away from humans, human presence, and human pressure. They don't tolerate it. Black bear do not tolerate too much human pressure. And so you can probably hear in the background like a pump house going on for irrigating this blueberry land out behind me. There's a lot of human disturbance right here. There probably aren't many black bear that utilize this area to feed, even at night, day or night. But I'm in black bear. There's black bear living nearby me right now. There's probably one that's listening to me. There could be a black bear bedded down in this wetland, swampy wetland down here below me. It's got all this pond and stream and stuff, all this water back here behind me, and all these blueberries, blackberry and raspberry bushes over this way. There's oak trees here and beech trees nearby, and there's ample water down here. We've got cover, good travel, a good travel corridor through here. This is like a narrow funnel, a forest funnel going between big wide open blueberry field and a big swampy wetland beyond it, just so many hundred yards that way. The bear will travel through here at night. They'll get their water they can drink, and then come up here at night and feed on blueberries, and then come daylight, and they'll obviously they're just like similar to your white-tailed deer. They're most active in dawn and dusk. You're going to see the most bear activity, just like with whitetails. You're going to see the most whitetail activity at dawn and dusk. Then they kind of start gravitating their way back into the deeper forests towards their bedding areas where it's cooler in the heat of the day, and obviously near water. They'll go to their watering holes where they can drink and lay up. The deer will chew their cud, and the black bear will go off and lay up somewhere where it's nice and cool. Black bear, and like deer too, deer do this. A lot of wild critters. I've even seen turkey do this. In the heat of the day, when it's real hot in the summertime, these critters will go and lay in water. They'll seek out water. It's always cooler in that area, and they'll lay down. A lot of times, lay right in the water. That's obviously helping to keep them cool in the summer months. So we've got like bedding cover for bear back here. Lots of water for them to drink. But given that pump house there and trucks coming and going through here, a lot of human disturbance right here, I'd say the black bear kind of hang during the daytime, back there in the mountains and the ridges, back that way further, deeper in the forest. There's like a river stream running through over there. And so there's lots of cover for the bear over that way, but they'll funnel through these strips of timber and come dusk and evening and through the night, come through here to feed. Come later on in the fall when the acorns start dropping, you can imagine the black bear feeding along these ridges, picking up acorns, getting some. If there's any berries still standing on the bushes, they'll eat berries. And obviously the bear will eat the grasses. They'll eat sheep sorrel, plantains, clovers, all your various grasses, other herbaceous type bushy plants. And come late fall, button up to the winter, extreme cold winter, snowy months, the bear turn to woody browse, like I said, to build that like internal plug, if you will, so they don't defecate in their denning areas. So, and they pretty much go into a torpor state. Heart rate slows, and they go into sleep days on end, weeks on end. They'll sleep periodically, awaken on them random warm winter days, and stretch their legs some, but they don't need to eat. So, but here we are in July, pre-baiting season for Maine's black bear hunt next month, which I'm super excited for. So you got to find food. So if I were to look for black bear sign here, if I was going to scout for black bear in this area, I would go, I got a path here I could take. I'd go right for the water source. I'd go scout along the edges of the streams, edges of bogs, boggy, swampy areas, looking for bear scat, looking for a beat down path that the black bear might be traveling daily to go out to feed to their feeding areas. You're going to, and black bear tracks aren't going to be as visible and stand out to you like deer tracks. Deer hooves dig into the ground and leave a prominent print that's very easy to spot. Black bear, they're flat-footed. Their hind feet and their front paws, feet, if you will, they're flat, and they're gonna just flatten the ground. They're gonna flatten the grasses and the leaves and the moss. It's gonna look like just something went through and laid down all that the grass and ferns and weeds. If it were to be deer, you'd see like soil coming up through the ground. The deer hooves, they dig into that ground and they stir up the soil duff, and you can obviously see the outline of them hooves from the deer, but you're not going to see that from bear. You got to just bear sign, bear tracks, if you will, going to appear more like flattened, like a flattened piece of ground. And you'll be able to tell when something big walked through an area, big like a black bear. I mean, it's the same as us as humans. Walk through a field or walk through the forest and flatten down vegetation as you're going, and then look back at the disturbance you made with your feet. We're flat-footed too. We're going to make our tracks, our disturbance in the forest is going to look a lot like black bear tracks, black bear disturbance. I almost did those finger quotes again. Sorry about that. So I'd go for like water areas, water sources, mossy, ferny, a lot of ferns and lots of aquatic vegetation along the edge of the bogs and swamps and pond area and along the streams. And I'd look for bear scat, bear tracks there. Look for a bear trail. Jeez, put them away, Justin. I'd look for bear trail leading towards prominent food source that I know that they like. And then I'd follow that trail. You can follow it, see where it's going, where it's coming from, backtrack on it, see where it came from, where it's going. And also another area to seek out, to look for bear sign, to see if you're in bear country, to kind of help yourself become a successful black bear hunter, is target those food sources, go to them, to an area where you know there's ample hard mass, ample berries and vegetation, herbaceous vegetation that you know bear love, and look for bear scat and tracks in those areas, and just keep going until you find bear. So eventually, if you are in black bear country where you know there's many black bear living there, if you're in a state, United States, one of the states in the United States that has black bear, or you're in Canada or Alaska, or if you know you're in bear country, you're going to eventually stumble upon bear sign, bear scat, bear tracks, browse sign, and go like going back to the trees, and the bear and porcupine eating that sugary sweet cambium layer in the trees. Black bear, they'll kill a clump of trees that are about that big around from eating that sugary cambium layer, and they'll die off and fall over, and it'll make a big clearing. When looking at aerial photos, if you're scouting from map, using your apps on your phone, looking at aerial photos and maps. Look on the aerial photos for like random clearings that are like a head scratcher. Like look for those random openings, clearings near thick timber, nearby water, and where there's lots of fruiting plants and oaks and beech nut stuff like that. And go there, go to those locations looking for bear sign. So those they'll kill a bunch of small trees, young trees, from eating that camera layer. They'll fall over, and as the years go on, after about 3 years, there's lots of lush, green, nutritious, herbaceous vegetation, new saplings coming up, and it just creates more food for the bear to come in the future. It's always been said, I've learned this, that 3-year-old clear cuts are favored by black bear. 3-year-old clear cuts are great for deer, bear, moose. They provide lots of food and lots of cover, lots of hiding cover too. 3-year-old clear cuts will have lots of vegetation growing up that's over your waist, almost shoulder high, a lot of sapling, and there's a lot of food there. A lot of your blackberries, raspberries, blueberries will grow up in those clearings and those cuttings. After 3-4 years or so, there'll be lots of fruit and lots of herbaceous vegetation for these critters to eat. Black bear seek out those locations for feeding at night. And now black bear, they can create their own clear cut, if you will, by eating the cambium, killing off the trees, stripping the bark for that sweet sugary cambium layer. Those trees die off in a big area, creating black bear made clear cut, if you will, kind of in a sense. And then after 2, 3, 4 years down the road, there's even better food for them there and good hiding cover nearby. They can lay right out. They can lay right up in that clearing, just mowing berries all day long and eating, munching away on herbaceous vegetation. And then the heat of the day comes on. They're obviously these clearings are going to be nearby water already. They don't have to walk far to get their drink, get lots of water, and lay down in the water, stay cool, and bed up for the day before they saunter on out to that clearing that they made from killing all them trees. So I hope all this helps you become a successful black bear hunter. Hopefully everything I shared with you, helped you learn more about black bear, maybe become more appreciative of black bear and who they are, what they are as an animal. I'm constantly learning through podcasts and books and magazines. I'm always learning everything I can about black bear, and that's a starting point for any hunter that's getting into whitetail hunting, moose hunting, bear hunting, whatever hunting that a hunter wants to get into. The good starting point for them is to go to YouTube videos and Google search key terms and read lots of blogs and articles, listen to podcasts, read books on the animals, learn everything you can about the animal, all the biology, anatomy of the animal, learn their habits, learn all about what they like to eat, their favorite food sources, the areas they like to kind of the bed and travel, and where they like to just live the majority of their life. Just learn everything you possibly can about the animal you're going to pursue, you're going to hunt. That's a starting point for all beginner hunters. And I'm like 30 years, well, I don't want to age myself. I don't want to give you any hints to how old I am, but I'm so many years in as a hunter already. I'm still doing that. And that's the when you're addicted, it's an addiction. I'm addicted to hunting. When you're addicted to hunting like I am, you're constantly learning more. You want to suck in the information. You want to consume the information about the animals that you like to hunt and learn every day about them and about their habits and about tactics and tricks and how to pursue them, be more successful. So I recommend that to you before you go on a black bear hunt and definitely research your guide, your outfitters and guides before you go spending those thousands of dollars on an outfitted hunt for black bear. Really do your thorough search on them and stuff, and really do your thorough search and research on black bear before you pursue them. So you learn everything you can, so you become more confident and just be that much more successful in the future to come. So I hope everything I shared with you, hopefully everything I talked about here, hopefully you learned something if you learned at least one thing that you never knew about black bear, and you learned some, like at least one thing about hunting black bear and pursuing black bear and how to become more successful as a black bear hunter, then I've done my job here in this live stream. It's been like almost an hour already. It's been a long live stream. I don't even know if it's still going. I'm still like paused on the screen here for whatever reason. If I do this, does it change it? Wonder why it paused. Hopefully it's still going. I mean, it's timing down. So, Black Bear Country. Black Bear Country 101. How to find black bear, how to scout for black bear 101. It was just a starting point here. In future live streams and black bear hunting videos to come, that I'll try to educate you more on the topic and educate you more on the black bear themselves, like the biology of black bear, and maybe share some more little hunting tricks, secrets, or whatever with you on how to be successful with black bear hunting. Yeah, so I wish all of you the bestest of luck out there. If you're going after black bear for your first time, I wish you the best of luck, and I hope you have fun, learn something, and just enjoy. I hope you're successful in shooting your first black bear. So yeah, don't forget to smash that like button for me before you go. If you're not subscribed to my Spikes and Gills YouTube channel yet, why don't you please subscribe now? Hit the notification bell so you're notified of all future uploads. If you want to learn more, if you want to see some of my black bear hunts on my YouTube channel, please subscribe, and so you'll be notified of all my future black bear hunting video uploads and my live streams in the future too. You want to subscribe, definitely smash that like button before you go, and drop your comments below. Love to hear from you, whether or not you're a successful black bear hunter or first-time black bear hunter, or maybe you could share some information with me about black bear that I didn't share on this live stream. Maybe it's something I don't already know. Please drop them comments down below. Teach me something about black bear, I'd like to hear about your successful black bear hunts as well. So definitely subscribe, Spikes and Gills, if you're not already. I'd greatly appreciate it. Smash that like button on your way out. All right, everybody. See you next time.